We'd love to
Speaking
see him.
of legal issues, so there's a Michael Jackson biopic, like that was supposed to come out, I believe, April. It was supposed to come out like early this year, but they gotta do some big rewrites and reshoots because of some legal issues. In the IndieWire it says here, I'm gonna read a paragraph or two here. Certainly this could have been avoided. According to a bombshell reports in Pook, Lionsgate, upcoming Michael Jackson biopic, Michael faces massive rewrites and reshoots because of a deal the Jackson estate made years ago with the family of one of the performer's child molestation,
Molestation. Yeah,
mole, mm.
unfortunate.
Accusers, Lionsgate did not return calls seeking comment. In November 24, Lionsgate announced the Michael directed by I don't know how to say that director's name would be delayed by a delayed be delayed from April 25 release to October 3rd, 2025, according to Puke. The problem lays with the agreement between Jackson's legal team and the family of Jackson's Jordan Chandler, the 13-year-old who accused Jackson of um, sexual,
Molestation in
yeah,
'93.
in 93.
This is
Yeah.
a really tough. You picked a really tough topic to speak second on.
Well, see, the thing is, it
Um,
keeps going. It keeps going. The deal made years before the movie began development, especially excluded the Chandler family from any movies about Jackson's life. However, the
so
Michael script began and ended in 1993, and the Chandler accusations, ac, accusations. No, that's not right. Uh,
accusations. I
yeah,
got you.
with a third act that hinges on the legal drama surrounding the Chandler's situation. So that's a lot to take in. Um,
Yeah. Well, there's a few things. First off, um, for you know a biopic, or I call them
well, I
bioepics because they're cool. But go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
well, the thing is, I didn't think they would even touch on the matter of the accusations of Michael Jackson at the end of his career. Well, it was not really even at his end of his career, but I didn't think they would talk about it at all. But but they made it basically the whole point of the movie, and this whole entire situation, which IndieWire opens up perfectly, says certainly this could have been avoided? Question mark. It's like, yeah, how was this not avoided?
Yeah, it very
Meaning,
well could have been avoided.
meaning because Lionsgate and the director, Atone, how do you say his name? They did the right thing. They went to the state and they asked, "Hey, take a look at this. Does this all check out?" And the people over there were like, "Yep, all good. No, nothing wrong here." And yet, the one thing that they somehow miss is the whole entire movie. So meaning I don't
Yeah.
even, meaning they probably didn't even read the script. And so um which is a big ordeal. It's like, which I don't I don't know how something like this even happens in the first place. I believe the state is going to be paying for the reshoots. Yeah, the state will be covering the $150 million budget for all the reshoots. But the thing is, they don't even have the director and the writer. They have to still get a green light on the rewrites. They have to get cleared on that before they even start shooting. So I don't even think this movie is coming out this year. I don't even think it's going to make that October date.
See, so here's the interesting thing. There's three things. First, I'm not as worried about the time frame
Oh no,
of it
well,
being
yeah.
completed. I,
The state is covering the cost, but either way, a lot of hard work went into the making of the movie, and it was in post production. That's the thing. This movie is was in post production. It was supposed to come out in April, literally like 2 months away, um, 2 to 3 months away. It was basically ready to go, and now. all that hard work thrown out the window. And I honestly feel bad for the kid that was cast to play Chandler, because this kid is probably like, oh, this is my big break, and next Lionsgate has to come over, basically being like, sorry, we're gonna have to take you out of the movie, and so that kid's heartfelt of dreams is destroyed. But they'll probably give him another
So
role.
there's an interesting number of there's an interesting number of things. So I went and did some research into the trial. Macaulay Culkin, uh, the very famous in the '90s, testified that he shared a bed with Jackson on a dozen or more times between the ages of 9 and 14, but had never been molested and had never seen Jackson act improperly, contrary to many of the prosecution's witness testimonies. He said that his parents had many of the prosecution's had known he was in Jackson's bedroom and never saw it as an issue. He described shock at hearing allegations. So there's a few different things. There were a lot of witnesses in this trial, in this different thing. One of the individuals who was one of the accusers, um, there had been a history. It says there was a history of perjury and fraud. Um, this person was portrayed as untrustworthy, having lied under oath in an earlier lawsuit. So it's really difficult, and this is where it's really important. Um, Beyond Michael Jackson, of course,
Yeah.
is the story of people needs to be told in its entirety. Every person is going to have something in which, like some people are drug addicts or different things. Molesting people obviously is a very serious and awful, awful, terrible, terrible, and you deserve consequences, obviously. But these are the things where I don't know why we try and sweep things under the rug and say like, oh, like we're not going to talk about that, or we're going to make a movie about somebody who is very famous and had heavy influence, but we're not going to talk about some of the things they're more controversial on. I think that is a terrible decision. Now, as to whether or not they obviously signed a deal that said they can't talk about that in this movie,
Yeah.
um, the
Well,
estate
that's
signed something.
I mean
I think that stinks.
well, in the state that, from my understanding, is that they years ago they're like, hey, if you're gonna make a Michael Jackson movie, you cannot use our son in the movie. You can't not do that. Now you could have easily, now this is all falls on the state's fault, but
Yeah.
you could have, if you're going to tell this story, you could have simply walked up to the family and been like, hey, do you want to make a quick $15 million? I get that you don't want your son's story in here, but it's very crucial to the story what we want to tell.
Well, it's the estate of Michael Jackson that doesn't want this story popping up. So I don't think it's
But
the accusers because they're going to get paid. They already
well,
got
yeah,
paid. They got a settlement, obviously. So um,
but then how does
I don't
that
know.
even get even looked over? Like that's the thing.
That's what I don't know. It says Michael Jackson blindsided by deal with family of accuser. So it says da 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 da. The Jackson Because of a deal the Jackson estate made years ago with the family of one of the performers.
Mm,
So it sounds like the Jackson estate and probably the settlement process said, "Hey, look, you can't really talk about this."
yeah.
Um, so it says years before the movie began development, excludes that family from any movies about Jackson's life. So if they bring up this specific person in any movies about Michael Jackson, they're not allowed to because of a deal that this family made with the Jackson estate years ago. So you can't bring up this story. I'm sure it's probably a part of settlement or something along those lines. It doesn't say. It says, oh yeah, the eventual $20 million settlement. So
Yeah.
now, settlements obviously don't admit guilt, so I'm not saying he is guilty versus not guilty. But I think the problem is that when you try and throw things under the rug and then not talk about them or not have anything about them or research them, I don't know. Your life is your life, and if there was controversy surrounding you, which eventually most people will end up in some kind of controversy,
Yeah.
I think it's a right to know what that controversy was and what happened. I mean, it's telling a timeline and story of your
Like
life and who
this
you
is
are.
like the start of the downfall, isn't it? Like of these accusations,
Well,
or is this
well,
just
here's the
one
thing.
of them?
Well, it doesn't say the complete. Like I said, I am not an expert
Yeah.
by any means. But I mean, it you basically are removing history of what happened. It would be like talking about a very important historical event or a very important historical person and being like, yeah, we're not going to talk about that because it paints this person in a bad light. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, i- painting in a bad light, like whether there were or weren't, everybody has a right to display evidence, and show. So I don't know. I'm a firm believer that erasing that kind of stuff is a terrible idea, but I also get why, his estate, he's passed away and can't defend himself. And so, should you have that in a movie? I don't know.
Well, the
I
next
think it would be, I really want to hear people's comments on this in particular. I'm interested.
Well, I don't know if the state could have been I don't know if the state could have made it some deal to like keep it in the movie or something. I don't know or if that's just past their point now. Like, no, you can't do it anymore just because that's just how it is. But now it leads to the next question of like, what do they make the story now? Because clearly they're gonna have to rewrite the whole entire movie,
No, I think
practically.
they're just going to take out, they're going to take out those portions.
But no, well, the article says here that from beginning to end, this court case, like this accusation, was the whole movie.
I don't, who thought that was a good idea?
Well,
It's a
I mean,
biopic. Why
that's
are you
what that.
making it all about one event? He's arguably one of the most
Well,
famous
from my understand,
musicians of all time.
from
Or
my
excuse me.
understanding, is that this was like the biggest tipping point in his career, and so like they need. I don't. I mean, I haven't read the script, so I don't know what they were going
Yeah.
for. But
Well, I don't
according,
think we'll even know
well,
because if they
no,
have to reshoot it, they're going
they
to have to
can't.
take it out.
Well, yeah, and if this script gets leaked, I think that's even probably even worse in a lot of ways. I don't know how that works, but now it's like, okay, what do they do? Do they go with a different kid? Like, do they go with a different
Well,
accusation? Or like some people were like, can they just, change the kid's name and keep the story? And it's like, no, they can't do that.
well,
This
you're
isn't
still making you're
you're
still
still
implying.
you're still implying it, and this is not Moneyball situation where the what's his name? Why am I blanking the actor's name?
Oh,
Gosh,
Brad Pitt.
no, not Brad Pitt. The his partner in the movie is the guy that he goes for numbers. Hold on, no.
Asking the wrong person. Man,
Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill's
everybody, just so you
character.
know.
That's well,
Oh, oh,
yeah.
okay.
So in Moneyball, Jonah Hill played a real guy, but but they could not use the real guy's name in the movie, and so they just gave him a different name. But he's still playing out that guy in the movie. So completely kind of somewhat different, like agreements there. So if anything, if they want to for, tell the story of Jackson's in these like court cases, they're gonna have to go with a different kid. That's just that, or like a different that like
I
that's
think they just leave it.
if that's what they want to do.
It,
I don't
yeah,
know
but
much about
if
Jackson, so I don't know really what they could do. But
I
again,
just think,
if they wanted to tell his whole entire story life, I don't know what you would
yeah,
do.
the problem I have is that they have to be careful. They have to honor whatever deal the settlement was. Salacious stories are always like, oh, like everybody likes the bad story instead of, good. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying we just, like I said, I'm not saying we overshadow that, but that's beyond the control. That was a deal they made years ago. And so they have to be respectful of the deal and the settlement and whatever they came with. But I'm saying moving forward that those types of deals should not be allowed. It should be, there should be, ability to investigate and do things and provide as evidence and all the different things. So, but
Does that
I'd be
include
curious.
not biopics, documentaries? Can they not? Like,
Yeah. Sometimes, like, if let's say I accused you of something and then you
how
said,
dare
"Oh
you?
yeah, I'll pay you, 5 million, I'll pay you $5 million to go away," but you sign a non-disclosure agreement or, you do something where you can't talk about it. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to like go talk about it. Even if what you did, even if what I'm saying is true and I accused you of it and everything, in some cases, if I signed a
It's not
settlement
true.
or if let's say Because sometimes what happens is rather than people get prosecuted or go away, obviously
Yeah.
it's dependent on what kind of crime it is or whatever. People are like, "Hey, you pay me to go away, I'll just go away." I know people sometimes take money over doing the right thing, and
Yeah.
I don't think that's the right thing to do. So,
Uh,
uh,
but yeah, let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below, and
yep,
of
yep.
this whole entire matter. Um, I guess give us your thoughts of what they should do next. If you're a big Michael Jackson fan, leave some, I guess, points down of what they could do that could be interesting. But I don't think that we will get this movie this year, anyways. Now,
No,
I,
it
I,
sounds like based on the reshoots, yeah.
so,
But well, and one last point I want to make: we're not pro or against or con or this. All I'm stating is the facts or the history of what happened are the facts and the history of what
well,
happened.
I
And
kind of
so,
agree with you. So that's the thing. Like
yeah.
if I'm making a biopic of something, I would like that to be as accurate as possible. And so,
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing is it paints him in a negative light, which they don't want to happen. But I always believe that good character in the end wins out. And so even if you're accused of something, or in that case, it's up to people to display evidence. And we're a country that's innocent until proven guilty. And so yeah. So
Thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to see the full-on podcast, I'll leave a link in the description below. And you guys can also check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. And if you guys want to, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the topics as well. So leave a comment on it. And if you guys are new to the channel and you guys enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button because we have a lot of other stuff on the channel. As a reminder, this is a monthly upload on the Big Talk with Austin. And this will also give you guys the opportunity to submit some topics to us that happen throughout the month. So if you guys want to do that, go check me out on Twitter and follow me there. Tag me whenever something interesting pops up that is movie reviews, movie TV shows, any like pop culture related type of stuff. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys next review. Bye, guys.